Crime and Punishment is a novel written by Fyodor Dostoevsky, first published in 1866. The story is set in St. Petersburg, Russia, and revolves around the character, Rodion Raskolnikov, a former student who is impoverished and desperate. Raskolnikov formulates a theory that some people are extraordinary and have the right to commit crimes for the greater good. Believing himself to be one of these extraordinary individuals, he plans and carries out the murder of a pawnbroker, Alyona Ivanovna. However, the crime has severe psychological consequences for Raskolnikov, and he begins to struggle with guilt, paranoia, and a fear of being discovered. As the narrative unfolds, Raskolnikov encounters a series of characters, including Sonia, a young woman forced into prostitution to support her family. Through these interactions, Raskolnikov is confronted with his moral and existential dilemmas. The novel explores themes of morality, redemption, and the psychological toll of crime. Raskolnikov's internal turmoil and his interactions with others serve as a vehicle for Dostoevsky to delve into the complexities of human nature and the consequences of immoral actions. Ultimately, Crime and Punishment is a profound exploration of the human psyche and the moral consequences of committing a crime, offering insights into the nature of guilt, redemption, and the pursuit of a meaningful life. Crime and punishment. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Taking a new step, uttering a new word, is what people fear most. Man grows used to everything, the scoundrel. It takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. It's easier to shout, "Stop," than to do it. To go wrong in one's own way is better than to go right in someone else's. Don't be overwise. Fling yourself straight into life, without deliberation. It's not the brains that matter most, but that which guides them's character, the heart. If he has a conscience, he will suffer while acknowledging his sin. That is his punishment as well as prison. Man is a creature that can get accustomed to anything. I did not bow down to you, I bowed down to all the suffering of humanity. People with new ideas, people with the faintest capacity for saying something new, are extremely few in number. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. 100 suspicions don't make a proof. I think if the devil doesn't exist, but man has created him, he has created him in his own image and likeness. It's not worthwhile to be so attentive. Let your higher self go to the devil. Man is a frivolous, light, and selfish creature. I may be a scoundrel, but at least I'm a man, while you're just a calculating machine. It takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. To love is to suffer, and to avoid suffering one must not love. But then one suffers from not loving. Therefore, to love is to suffer. Not to love is to suffer. To suffer is to suffer. To be happy is to love. To be happy, then, is to suffer, but suffering makes one unhappy. Therefore, to be happy, one must love or love to suffer or suffer from too much happiness. Taking a new step, uttering a new word, is what people fear most. People talk to you a great deal about your education, but some good, sacred memory, preserved from childhood, is perhaps the best education. What do you think? Can a man who has a fortune of his own ever really know what poverty is? You're a gentleman, and gentlemen's hands are clean, and whatever a gentleman does, he's expected to do it justifiably and decorously. Don't be overwise. Fling yourself straight into life, without deliberation. Life is pain, is terror, and the highest good is the denial of life. The more I love humanity in general, the less I love man in particular. To go wrong in one's own way is better than to go right in someone else's. A man takes pride in thinking that he is capable of great contempt. He wants others to believe it. He wants to believe it himself. I want to live, and I do live, even if it be against the laws of logic. I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. I am an unpleasant man. I think my liver is diseased.
Hey, amazing viewers, if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing, hitting the follow button, and giving it a thumbs up. Your support means a lot and helps us create more awesome content. Feel free to share your thoughts below. Thanks for being a part of this journey.
People talk to you a great deal about your education, but some good, sacred memory, preserved from childhood, is perhaps the best education. The child begins by loving his parents. As he grows older, he judges them. Sometimes he forgives them. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. I did not bow down to you, I bowed down to all the suffering of humanity. It's not worthwhile to be so attentive. Let your higher self go to the devil. 100 suspicions don't make a proof. We're always thinking of ourselves. We're always in the center. And that is why we're always getting into trouble. A man takes pride in thinking that he is capable of great contempt. He wants others to believe it. He wants to believe it himself. Man is a frivolous, light, and selfish creature. But here begins a new account, a new story, a fresh and different matter. For if a man's strength is unequal to his ambition, he will be ashamed of his weakness. The humiliation of failure is hard to bear. To live without hope is to cease to live. To be too conscious is an illness, a real, thoroughgoing illness. The best definition of man is a being that goes on two legs and is ungrateful. I want to say one thing to you very clearly, because it's the main thing I want to say in this conversation. I am a scoundrel, an egoist, and a depraved creature, and I'm getting more and more depraved every moment. There is nothing so annoying as to be fairly rich, of a fairly good family, pleasing presence, average education, to be not stupid, kind-hearted, and yet to have no talent at all, no originality, not a single idea of one's own to be, in fact, just like everyone else. Life is a vexatious trap. When a thinking man reaches maturity and attains to full consciousness, he cannot help feeling that he is in a trap from which there is no escape. He has one undeniable virtue: he is ashamed of his dishonesty, and dishonest in such a way that you are afraid to look at him. The greatest happiness you can have is knowing that you do not necessarily require happiness,